Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about once again the tools and techniques used in TQM. So in the last class we discussed about the benchmarking. Okay, so that is one of the tool which you are going to use for in the organization regarding the TQM implementation. And one more we are going to use is information technology. Okay, so that we'll discuss one by one. Okay, information technology. What is information technology? It's all talks about the technology which we use for the TQM implementation. So it is defined as the computer technology which we use. The computer technology for what now we are going to use this computer technology for processing the data and storing the information. So the information is going to be processed, or data is processed, and we need to store the information in a computer. So as well as the communication technology for transmitting the information. So the information has to be communicated to all the employees in the organization. So for that also we use this technology. That is what the computer technology. Either it may be a hardware or software, either hardware or software. So both we are going to use in the case of information technology in any organization. So it helps the TQM organization. It helps the TQM organization to achieve its goals. Because without this processing of data and without the storing the information and communicating the information through information technology, we cannot achieve the goals, because the goals has to be communicated. The goals has to be communicated, and your objectives to be disseminated to all the employees in the organization. So in this regard we need to know each and every employee should know about the goals and the objectives of the organization. So there are three levels of information technology. Generally there are three levels of information technology. One is the data, information, knowledge. Data, information, knowledge. So here the data is nothing but it may be in the form of the data can be collected in the form of alphanumeric. And information is nothing but which is a very meaningful. It is a meaningful arrangement of data. Means the whatever the data you processed, that has to be arranged in the form of, so that we can understand. So the meaningful arrangement of the data is called as information. And that creates the patterns and activates the meanings in person's mind, so that the person can easily understand what we have put in the information. So this the information is nothing but it's a meaningful arrangement of data. So this after collection of data, that has to be kept in the form of information. So after processing the data, then we are going to get the information. So what the information gives us? Information is gives us the knowledge. So knowledge is nothing but the knowledge is the value added content of human thought. It is a value added content of human thought. Okay, so these are all three levels of information technology. So we'll move to the next. So what is computers and the quality functions? See how the computers are involved in the quality functions. So computers play an important role in the quality functions. So generally quality functions. What kind of quality functions we will be having, and how these computers are going to be helpful in the quality functions. This we need to find out. So they perform very simple operations with a high speed and accuracy, because the computers perform very simple operations with a high speed and accuracy. And also we can be programmed. So these computers are also can be programmed by using the some software, so that we can perform complex calculations in the in an industry. So if I want to perform complex calculations, I can use the program, and then that will be installed in the computer, so that it can run the program. And also the computers also can be used by writing the program, and then to control the process. So to control the process, I can write a program with the use of computers. So analyze the data. So computers can be programmed to analyze the data also. And computers can be programmed to write the reports. So even for writing the reports is also very we use the computers. And recall the information on command. So some of the software, if we want to use the query languages like structured query language, SQL and all, so which will be used for recalling the information on commands, recalling the information command. So that the computers can be programmed, to perform the different operations, using the program. So these are the different programs which you can do for these kind of which used by the industry. That is control of a process, analyzation of the data, and writing the reports and recalling the information. These are all which are used in the organization that can be done through computers. That is how the information technology is going to be helpful for the TQM organizations. Next we'll go the quality functions which are served by the quality function needs which are served by the computers are data collection. First and foremost thing is data collection. So we can know that the quality function needs served by the computer are: one is data collection, data analysis and reporting, statistical analysis, process control, test and inspection, system design, and serve as the platform for intranet and as well as internet utilization. So the computers are basically in any organization they're going to use the for data collection. So all the organization, business organization or service oriented organization, they need to know how the data can be collected, So the collection of data can be done through computer, and as well as data analysis and reporting. So once you collect the data, that analysis of the data means, say for example, if you have collected the data regarding any particular process, that can be analyzed by in the form of graphical pictures. So data analysis, once you know analysis using the graph, that can be reported regarding the process. Say if you studied about the statistical process control in the case of construction of control charts. So the control charts need to have the collection of the data, so that can be done through computer and as well as the analysis. So after collecting the data by using the program, we are going to find out the control limits, and we are going to establish the control limits and then plot the chart. So that is by using the program. So once you use this computers for writing the program and all, then it is easy to analyze the process. That is by using the computer. So once you form the graphical representation, that is in the form of chart, then it is easy to analyze how the process is. So that can be reported to the higher ups. Okay, so that is very useful by what you call that is very useful for the company, very useful for the organization. So in similarly, statistical analysis also. See, statistical analysis is nothing but we use the basic statistic fundamentals. So where we need to have the data about the mean, and where you need to have the data deviation of the process or deviation of the variable, anything. That data can be analyzed by using your computer. So data collection, data analysis and reporting, and process control is also can be used. That's what we discussed with the control charts. SPC, statistical process control, which can be used by the computer. And test and inspection, sometimes test and inspections also can be done by using the computers. So we can analyze the how the performance. Say for example, test is connected to the computer, and then we can get the results on the particular test. So similarly, inspection is about the product quality. And the system design. So we'll discuss one by one about how these quality functions are going to be served by the computer. So data collection, as you know, the collection, utilization, and dissemination of the quality control information. The quality control information is accomplished by computer or information technology system. When the information is incorporated into an information technology system, we are going to able to achieve this collection, utilization, and dissemination of the information. So information technology maintains relationship with other activities also. Here other activities in the sense, say for example, information technology, which you need to collect the data, right? So from the purchasing department, from the raw material department, from the quality department, from all the other departments also, this information technology have the relationship, because you need to collect the data about the, say from the quality control department, I need to have the how many number of defectives is going to be obtained today. So likewise, the data purchasing department, what are the raw materials you have bought today. So all this information has to be stored in the computer. So information technology maintains the relationship with other activities, and sources of data are process inspection. See how we are going to collect the data. What are the sources? How, from where you are going to collect the data? From where you are going to collect the data is nothing but inspection stations, process inspection stations, and scrap and waste reports. Means we need to find out how much is the scrap, how much is the waste we have obtained during this particular process. And the product audits also is going to be a source of data where we need to collect the information about the product. And testing laboratories, because whatever the product which you are going to make, but it has to be, before going to release it to the customer, it has to be tested. So the testing laboratories, the data from the testing laboratory is also one of the information which you need to obtain. And similarly, customer complaints, service information, customer complaints also to be stored in a which is going to be helpful for the continuous improvement. So service information, all these are called nothing but sources of data, from where we are going to collect the data, and then we are going to process this, and we are going to disseminate for the organization. So these are all sources of data. However, a computer does not have an unlimited amount of storage capacity, because we know that computers doesn't have any unlimited amount of storage capacity. A computer, because it is say for example, if you take a small computer which is having the storage capacity of, say for example, 1 terabyte, 2 terabytes, like that. So it cannot be stored larger amount of data. So that's why we need to periodically review the data, and which are useful, that data has to be maintained, and then the remaining data which is not useful, that can be deleted from the storage. So that is the information data collection. And one more quality function is data analysis and reporting. As we told, that the data analysis in the form of graphical representation, can be done through computer. So data analysis, the activity of analysis, reduction, and reporting are programmed to occur automatically. So these analysis can by programming it can be occurred automatically, and also to occur on command by the computer operator. Sometimes it may be occur through command given by the computer operator. So this analysis part, which can be automatically carried out by using the program. So scrap and rework cost reports. So how much is the scrap is generated today, and what is the cost involved in that particular scrap? And also similarly, rework cost. So how much is the rework products or items has gone for, and what is the rework cost is. So these are all reports which can be easily produced by using this computer or information technology. And also, as we discussed about the seven quality control tools, that is a Pareto analysis can be represented in the form of graph by writing program. So Pareto analysis can be represented in the form of graph by writing program. As we told, that Pareto analysis is used for the analyzing the data. So which causes the defects, defect from where we are going to get the defects. So all this information can be obtained from the Pareto analysis, can be represented in the form of graph by writing the program. And data can also be analyzed while being accumulated. Means when the data is keep coming, so automatically it can be analyzed. So this is what we can say. Next, statistical analysis. Most of the statistical analysis can be carried out. As we told, that the statistical analysis is nothing but how much is the deviation, how much is the mean, because the statistics, basic fundamentals of statistics, like deviation and variance, as well as this what we call median and mean, all this kind of data can be carried out by writing the programs. Most of the statistical analysis can be carried out by writing the programs. And also we have so many software packages, statistical software packages, which can be like ANOVA, Excel, and all those. And all these programs have been incorporated into software packages. So all these programs which I have written, that can be incorporated in the form of a software in the form of software package. So if you see that the software packages, some of the examples, ANOVA is one of the statistical software package which can be widely used by the organizations. And also the advantage of software package, why we use these software packages, because it eliminates the time consuming manual calculations. That is the advantage of the software packages. And also timely and accurate analysis of may be performed to diagnose the problems. Timely and accurate analysis may be performed to diagnose the problems, and easy to perform statistical analysis with limited knowledge. In the sense, even the person who is operating this who is operating a particular machine, and then we need to have the little knowledge. He is having the little knowledge also, that fellow also can easily perform these kind of software packages. So it is of user-friendly packages. So these are all the advantages of software packages which we can use in the case of statistical analysis. So that way it is going to help. The information technology is helping the organization in implementation of TQM. Next, process control. So one is the process control, is the which we have discussed about. The NC missions are used in the process control. NC is nothing but numerically controlled missions. So CNC and all those which are going to use the programmed kind of CNC, we can call it as a numerically controlled part programming. So these missions used in the process controls. So what benefits from the automatic process control are, we are going to get constant product quality due to the reduction in process variation, increased productivity, and safer operation for personnel and equipment. So personal safety can be achieved using these CNC machines and all those, because we are not operating any with the cutting tools and all those. So just a programming can be done. Once you have done the programming, then automatically the cutting takes place in the machines. It may be CNC lathe machine or CNC milling machine, whatever the machine which are going to, the operator can be operate this particular process under safe conditions, because we are just writing the programs to run this particular to achieve that particular product. So after writing the program that is in the form of NC part programming, we can achieve the safety of the operation, personnel as well as the equipment. So that's how the process control is going to help in information technology, helps in the process control. And as we told, the automated test and inspection. So computer controlled test and inspection systems offer the following advantages. So as we told that the inspection and test, during the test and inspection of any product, we are going to use the like computer. We are going to use it is connected with the computer, so that it will be easy to test. It is because the accuracy is high, so that we are going to get the improved test quality. So improved test quality compared to the manual, and also lowering operating cost. So lowering the operating cost, and compared to the manual, it is going to be the increased productivity also, because we are going to number of products which are going to inspect by the manually and as well as computer, it will be compared to the manual. The using the computer, we are going to get we can achieve the more number of products can be achieved. So that's why cost can be reduced. We can reduce the cost, and as well as automated calibrations can be achieved. Automated calibration can be achieved, and malfunction of diagnostics means if there is any machine is not functioning properly, is there any problem with the machine, so it can be easily diagnosed. It can be easily diagnosed when it is connected to the computer. So it will give the what and all, which part, which is giving the failure, the problem with the failure of the machines. So it can be used for this automated test and inspection can be used for go and no go inspection decisions, no go inspection decisions, and for sorting and classifying the parts in selective assembly. In the selective assembly, we are going to use for sorting and classifying, that can be done manually. So we are going to use here computer for sorting and classifying the parts in selective assembly as well. So this is how the automated test and inspection can be done through computers. Next is system design. So system design, as we told, that the integration of all these activities, whatever the various quality functions which you have done with other activities, requires an extremely sophisticated system design. The complete overall design, the integration of various quality functions with other activities, the integration of various quality functions with other activities requires an extremely sophisticated system design. Okay, so we'll go with the some other than that. Say, for example, as we discussed, other than this, we have told that some information technology, intranet and internet. So it serves as the platform for last one. Serve as the platform for intranet and internet utilization. So not only with this, what you call the quality functions which I have discussed. Other than that, we'll be having the usage of what you call other electronic communications. So intranet. So within the organization, we can send the mails within the employees. That is what you can call as intranet. And internet, which can be globally, can be sent through send communication can be happen through internet. And instant messaging, video conferencing, and virtual teaming. So all this can be done. E-learning, e-government, and as well as e-commerce, business to business, business to customer. All this can be happen through this particular internet and intranet utilization. So these are the other electronic communication which can be happen through computers. So, and what are the information quality issues? What are the some of the information quality issues? Are nothing but accuracy, and as well as security, because the access and transactions. So security regarding about the access security. So the problem is with the access security is nothing but the data access. So hackers may access the data about our transaction security. Whatever the transaction is happened, that also has to be maintained. Security issues also there in the information technology, as well as cyber crimes. As we know that the cyber crimes is also one of the quality issue in the case of information technology. And privacy. So these are the four important parameters which you can say that there are some information quality issues which you have. So accuracy, security, cybercrime, privacy. So this is about this information technology. This is about the information technology. How this information technology can be used in the as a TQM tool. So total quality management. So we have discussed about around the quality functions with the quality function which can be served by the computer, and as well as why the computers and quality functions we are going to use. So now with this you can wind up this particular information technology tool, and we'll move to the next tool, which is called as environmental management system, which you can call as environmental management system. So we know that the environmental management system is nothing but it is a how the impact on the environment from the organizations or business activities and all those. So the EMS is a part of EMS is nothing but environment management system. It is a part of comprehensive management system that addresses how the overall business activities, which I can say it's a business activities, nothing but products and services. Means it may be a product business and product oriented, or it will be a service oriented organizations. So how these industries or organizations impact the environment. So this is a part of comprehensive management system. That addresses how the overall business activities, including its products and services, impact the environment. So the EMS maximizes the company participation in environmental performance now and in the future. The EMS maximizes the company participation in environmental performance. Means how is going to be effect on the environment, and currently how it is producing, and how in the future as also it has to be controlled. So the effect on the environment should be under limited conditions. So if it is a product or in like chemical industries and process industries, they have to have the control on the impact on the environment. Whatever they are going to release onto the atmosphere, that has to be controlled. So that's why the product and services, even service organizations kind of health sector, so which are going to be hazardous is going to be health sector. the products with, I mean, sorry, in the hospitals and all waste, hospital waste, and it's going to be hazardous to the environment. Hospital waste is going to be hazardous to the environment. So that has to be controlled. That has to be controlled. So all these is nothing but it addresses the EAMS system is going to be address this how these business activities impact the environment. So for that, the international standards of organization have 14,000 series. ISO 14,000 series talks about the this environmental management system. ISO 14,000 talks about the environmental management system. The series is divided into two separate areas. The series is divided into two separate areas. One is organization evaluation standards. The other one is product evaluation standards. So if we talk about the organization evaluation standards, there are three, once again, three standards, three categories it is contained. It contains three categories. One is the environmental management system. Second one is environmental auditing, and third one is environmental performance evaluation. Environmental performance evaluation. So under this we have a different series. Under this we have a different series. One is 14,001, which you can call as specifications, specifications about, in the sense, generally specification about the what you call environmental management systems. Whenever you are going for registration, we need to have the specifications. That are the elements. It's nothing but the specifications are nothing but the elements that organizations are required to conform it to, if it means the organizations, these elements are required by the organization which we are going to confirm, they seek for the registration, when you go for registration. And 14,004 is a guidelines. 14,004 is nothing but the guidelines. Okay, so it's about the guidelines on the principles, systems, and supporting techniques. Guidelines on the principles and techniques are supporting systems, and as well as 14,010, which talks about the guidelines for environmental auditing. So guiding general principles on environmental auditing provides the information for internal as well as external auditing. This gives the information about the internal as well as external auditing. So auditing can be expressed in two ways. One is internal auditing as well as external auditing. So the audit is a systematic documented verification process. Audit is nothing but it is a systematic documented verification process of objectively obtaining and evaluating the evidence to determine whether the activities or the events or conditions conform to the criteria and communicate the information to the organization. Because whatever the activities carried out by the organization, is it within the level or not, that has to be communicated to the organization by this 14,010 general principles. And what is the 14,011? 14,011 says about the guidelines for environmental auditing. That is nothing but auditing procedures. So auditing of environmental management system, auditing of environmental management system, which provides the information on how to plan and conduct an audit. So it is nothing but the auditing team should have the audit plan and implementation and making a report. So this audit procedures contains, with the help of the auditing team, this has to have, when you are going to conduct the auditing, how you are going to conduct this auditing, and then how you are make the report, So these things has to be carried out in the auditing procedures. That is 14,011. That is nothing but 14,011. So in the third point, environmental performance evaluation. So 14,012, which talks about the qualification criteria for environmental auditors performing environmental management system audits. So what is the qualification criteria for auditing? criteria for auditing, okay, which covers the information on auditor qualifications, training, and personal attributes and skills. It is completely gives about the auditor criteria. Auditor criteria is nothing but which covers the information on auditor qualifications, training, and personal attributes and skills. And the third category is about the environmental performance evaluation. Environmental performance evaluation. So environmental performance evaluation is talks about 14,031 ISO 14,031, which talks on the guidelines, which talks on the guidelines on environmental performance evaluation. So how this environmental performance evaluation can be calculated or evaluated. So here it presents the information. It presents the information on recording information to track the performance. It's going to give the how we are going to record the information, how we are going to record the information on the performance of the particular organization. So it helps the organization meet the requirements of ISO 14001. So these are the three categories in the organization evaluation standards. Next we'll go to the product evaluation standards. In the case of product evaluation standards, here also same kind of three categories are there. So first category is about the environmental aspects in product standards. There is a guide 64, we can call it as guide 64, which talks about the guide 64 completely talks about the environmental aspects in product standards. It is designed to help the writers in developing the product standards, And ISO 14,020 environmental labeling. What 14,020 discuss about? So 14,020 is nothing but it's a basic principles for all the environmental labeling. It talks about the basic principles for all the environmental labeling, which provides the guidance on the goals and principles, that should be used in all labeling programs. And the second one, ISO 14,021, which talks about the environmental labeling self-declaration of environmental claims, terms and definitions, which are going to be terms and definitions. It is completely talks about this terms and definitions, which applies to organizations that are declaring themselves about their product on the environmental attributes So self-declaration about, say for example, such as recyclable, whether the product which are going to be produced, is it recyclable or reusable, that kind of we need to mention in the self-declaration. And as well as 14,022 talks about the symbols. So it provides the standard set of symbols for use by the organizations. So set of symbols which are going to use the for the environmental kind of, say for example, reuse, recycle, and reproduction. These are the three things which you can use in the form of symbols. Similarly, 14,023, that is testing and verification. So testing and verification. So in this testing and verification, it provides the information on the appropriate methods to use to confirm the genuineness of the product as stated by the environmental label. So here it provides the information on the appropriate methods which are going to use for the product. And 14,024, it talks about the third party. That is practitioner programs, which are guiding principles, practices, and certification procedures for multiple criteria programs, and which is established criteria for third party labeling or sealing programs. See, these programs determine when the products have overall environmental superiority as compared to other products. And the third category talks about the life cycle assessment, life cycle assessment, and which is say 14,040, which is say 14,040. In this assessment attempts to determine the long range environmental effect of a product. So these assessments are used for determining the long range environmental effect of a particular product which are going to produce by the organization. So and 14,041, which is life cycle assessment, of course, goals and definitions. So here it is intended to provide the guidelines for the preparation, conduct, and critical review of the life cycle inventory analysis. So it clearly gives about the life cycle inventory analysis, how you are going to prepare this, and how you are going to conduct, and how you are going to review, and how you are going to review this life cycle inventory analysis. That guidelines are provided by the 14,041 and 14,042, which is under the life cycle assessment, impact assessment. So impact assessment is use the results of the inventory analysis whatever you obtained in the 14,041. So use those results and evaluate the significance of potential environmental impacts, and evaluate the how going to impact on the environment, how it is going to be impact on the environment using the life cycle inventory analysis, Similarly, 14,043 talks about the improvement assessment. 14,043 talks about the improvement assessment. So improvement assessment, in the sense, it provides information to improve the total environmental performance of a product. And the development of this standard will be extremely difficult until the impact assessment standard is developed. So until this impact assessment developed, this kind of standard is not easy to develop. So these are all the product evaluation standards. These are all the product evaluation standards which are in the environmental management systems. So how this concept of ISO 14,001 is come out? So concept of ISO 14,000 is uses the PDCA cycle or PDCA cycle. So generally it starts with the environmental policy. It starts with environmental policy and move with the planning, implementation, checking, and management review. These are the phases it has to undergo. So it begins with environmental policy, which is followed by planning, implementation, and operation, checking, and corrective action, and management review. This approach follows the PDCA cycle or PDCA cycle. So PDCA, plan, do, check, act, or plan, do, study, act. So both are, of course, there is a change in check and study here. Okay, so you can use any of this cycle. So if you take this one, management commitment, that is making the environmental policies, and then initial review can be happen. So what plan? Because environmental policy planning consists of environmental aspects, legal and other requirements, objectives and targets, environmental management programs. All these four consist of in the planning phase. So after making the planning about all these environmental aspects, legal requirements, and objectives and targets, then do phase will come into the picture. So PDCA cycle I'm using here, PDCA. Okay, so do phase, what you are going to do, what you have planned in the planning phase, that has to be done in the do phase. So implementation and operation, and you are going to structure and the responsibility and training. I mean, structure and the responsibility, who is going to carry out this particular task, and then what is the responsibility of that particular fellow. And training, awareness, and competence. Communication, EMS documentation, that is environmental management system documentation, and communication about these particular policies and all those targets and objectives regarding the environmental management system, regarding the EMS. So then documentation of this EMS, documentary control, operational control, emergency preparedness, and response. So these are all will come under the do phase. Then after implementing this environmental policy after then we need to check. We need to check it. It's nothing but you are going to evaluation. Evaluation takes place here because you have implemented in the do phase, and then you are going to evaluate here. So how we are going to evaluate? So checking and corrective action. How to check? We are going to have the measurement. We should have the measurement so that we can go for checking the whether the it is up to the mark or not, environmental levels is maintained or not. So here monitoring and measurement can be taken place, and non-conformance and corrective and preventive actions, the records and EMS auditing. EMS auditing also can be taken place. We have talked about the in the organizational standards. In the organizational standards, EMS auditing can be takes place here in the check phase. Then afterwards, these results will be given to the management to review on that particular results. To review on the particular results. So here, in the after reviewing all the results, they are going to act on the how whether we are going to we are crossing the limits or levels of the environmental issues. Then we need to take care on the particular policy. Once again they have to revise the policy. So this management act on the particular results which I have got in the check phase. So this is how the PDCA cycle is going to help in the environmental management system. Now, what are the ISO 14001 requirements? What are the ISO 14000 requirements? So ISO 14000 requirements is there are four up to six are there. That is 4.1 is nothing but general requirements. So here in the general requirements is nothing but this organization which establish and maintain the environmental management system, which includes this, as we discussed, the policy planning, policy making and planning, implementation phase, and as well as operation phase. Okay, so then we need to go for checking. That is 4.5 phase, checking and corrective action. Then management review. That's what we discussed in the previous diagram. In this diagram. Okay, so now general requirement, in the general requirements it's all talk about the planning and all those things and as well as environment. The second one, 4.2, is environmental policy. So environmental policy, the organization's policy statement should be based on the mission and values. So it shows that management commitment. So how you are going to make the environmental policy, how you are going to make the environmental policy is very important. So it shows that how your organization is committed on the environment, how your organization is taking care of the environment. Okay, so here this environmental review, which includes initial environmental review includes that identification of existing activities with the suppliers, and as well as identification of existing management policies and procedures, and also feedback from the investigation of previous incidents what has happened, and also identification of benchmarking opportunities, and identification of legislative and regulatory requirements. Because when I am going to make the environmental policy, all these things to be known as an initial review. Next we'll move to the policy which you have going to the made. The policy which you have made, that has to be documented. And the policy, what it provides, the policy provides that setting and reviewing the environmental objectives and targets by the organization. So the policy must be documented, which you have made, that has to be documented, implemented and maintained. It is also must be communicated to all the employees, because the environmental policy has to be known to each and everyone in the organization. So that has to be communicated. Right. So next is 4.3, which talks about the planning. In the planning phase, once again we have a subcategories of environmental aspects planning, legal and other requirements planning, and objectives and target planning, environmental management programs. So which we discussed in this diagram. See, environmental aspects, legal and other requirements, objectives and targets, environmental management program. All these four will come under the environmental policy planning. That is 4.2. 4.3 environmental policy planning. So in this planning, this consists of four elements as we discussed. The one is environmental aspects, legal and other requirements, objectives and targets, environmental management programs. So one by one we'll discuss what is environmental aspects, the relationship among the environmental aspects, environmental impacts, environmental aspects and environmental impacts, and the standard is necessary for successful implementation of standards. So it requires the environmental aspects of an organization activities, products and services that it can control, and influence the identified in order to determine the environmental impact. And legal and other requirements, according to this 14004, according to 14004, issues to be considered, issues, what are the issues to be considered for the procedure should include the organization. So legal and requirements, so we need to access the identifies legal and other requirements, we need to keep track of this legal and other requirements, and also we need to keep the track of changes in this legal and requirements, and also communicate this relevant information about the legal and other requirements. We need to communicate the relevant information about legal and other requirements to employees. And coming to the 4.3.3 objectives and targets, the organization shall establish and maintain these what you call these objectives and targets at each relevant function and level. So here, in addition to that, environmental aspects and legal requirements, we need to, I mean, this requires the organization to consider economic viability of the option, cost effectiveness, and as well as appropriateness and affordability and use of the interested parties, all such as employees and all those to be taken care. And objectives may be applied to only one person, or it may be group, or it may be the entire organization. Objectives may be applied to a person, or it may be applied to a group, or it may be applied to entire organizations. So 14004, ISO 14004, it lists some of the different form of the objectives, such as reducing the waste is one of the objective by any organization. Reducing the waste, and as well as reducing or eliminate the release of pollutants. Pollutants means which causes the pollution, and that can be reduced or eliminate. That is also one of the objective which are going to, or target which are going to keep. And control the environmental impact of sources of raw material which you use. Sometimes raw materials causes the environmental pollution, and minimizes any significant adverse environmental effects of new developments, and promote environmental awareness among employees and other communities. So these are the some of the examples which I have given you, that objectives which can be set or targets. So environmental objectives is nothing but reducing the waste, or reducing the pollutants, or eliminating the pollutants, all those. Now we'll move on to the 4.3.4 environmental management programs. In this, this requirement can be achieved with a simple form. It will be require completion of the following items. So it states the objectives. These programs states the objectives, and state the purpose. Of the environmental management system, and describe how the objectives will be achieved. Through these programs, we are going to describe how the objective will be achieved, and state the program leader, who is going to be a team leader of this particular program, and designate the departments and individual responsible for specific tasks, and establish the schedule for completion of the task. So these are all can be carried out in the environmental management programs. And we'll move to the 4.4, which is implementation and operation. In the implementation and operation, we have a subcategories, that is structure and responsibility, training and awareness and competency, communication. So it's nothing but implementation operation is nothing but consists of 7 elements which we discussed here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and each will be having their own significance. Structure and responsibility, in the sense roles and responsibilities and that will be defined in this phase. Means who is carrying what kind of job, and what is the authority and what is the responsibility should be defined, and as well as documented and communicated for all the personnel which are affecting the EMS, which are affecting the EMS. So this in the case structure and responsible takes place, and as well as training, awareness and competency. Training, awareness and competency. Training needs should be evaluated on regular basis. So here the training should include what kind of training to be taken, record of training needs assessments, task competency requirements, training procedures, training plans, and all this to be included. This training is included. And also communication. A key aspect of any management program is communication. Without communication, nothing can be happen. So it is a key aspect of any management program. The standard requires procedures shall be established and maintained for internal communication among the employees. So effective communication may be either up or down. Laterally should ensure the questions that answered and that understanding is complete and accurate. So demonstrate the management commitment to the environment and EMS. Why? How this communication procedures address the EMS is, it demonstrates the management commitment to the environment, and also it raises the awareness of the organization environmental activities, and also it publishes the results of internal and external audits of the EMS, and maintain a high level of employee focus on the environmental issues. This next category is environmental management system documentation. So the organization establish and maintain the information, and that has to be either it may be a paper documentation or electronic form, or it may be a electronic form and all those. So this has to be maintained. So the organization must show that it is actually practicing what the documentation states. In other words, say what you do and do what you say. Okay. So it is about the environmental management system documentation. Next, the document control. Document control is element requires that procedures be established and maintained to control all EMS documents. And operational control. This element aligns the operations and activities with the identified significant environmental aspects. So environmental policy, environmental objectives, and targets. Next is emergency preparedness and response. So procedures are required to identify and respond to the potential accidents. So whenever the accidents happen, that you need to have the procedures for immediate response. So emergency organizations responsibilities of key personnel, details of emergency services which you have in the organization, that is kind of fire department, spill cleanup service, and all those, and internal external communication plans and actions to be taken for the different type of emergencies, and also information on the hazardous materials, it has to be published, and as well as training plans and testing for effectiveness. So these are all has to be maintained in the emergency preparedness and response in the case of implementation and operation of requirements. Next is checking and corrective action. This area contains 4 elements. One is the monitoring and measuring. And one more is non-conformance and corrective action and preventive action. So these are all has to be maintained. That's what for monitoring and measuring, non-conformance and corrective and preventive action, records, EMS audit. These 4 parameters, 4 categories has to be maintained. And then non-conformance and corrective and preventive action is nothing but identifying the root causes of non-conformance. From where it is occurring. So to identify the root cause, and also identify and implement the necessary corrective action, and implementing or modifying the controls necessary to prevent the reoccurrence of that particular non-conformance. So recording any changes in the written procedures. So all this to be recorded. And records, what the records talks about is nothing but procedures are required for the identification, maintenance, and disposition of environmental records such as training, audits, equipment calibrations, and reviews. All this has to be in the form of records has to be. Records shall be legible, identifiable, and traceable to the activity, product, or service. And what is EMS audit? The purpose of this audit is to ensure that EMS conforms to the plans and is being properly implemented and maintained. So whatever you plan that has properly implemented, or you are going to you are maintaining properly or not, that conforms this EMS audit. So internal audit can be happen or external audit can be happen. Internal audit is nothing but self audit. Internal audit is nothing but self audit, or external audit can be happened by the other third party and all. So here audit information should be distributed to the senior management to assist in the management review process, because the next process is going to be management review. So this information, the whatever you obtained through internal or external audit, that information has to be maintained and it has to be disseminated to the senior management in assisting the management review process. And finally, management review. What is management review? It is management review and revision. If applicable, it is required to ensure the continuing suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness of the EMS. Effectiveness of the EMS. And next we'll talk about the benefits of environmental management system. In the benefits of environmental management system, we can divide into two benefits. One is the global benefits, the other one is organization benefits. So what are the global benefits which gives the facilitates the trade and remove trade barriers among globally? So improve the environmental performance of planet Earth and build the harmony that there is a need for environmental management and common terminology for EMS. So what are the organization benefits we are going to achieve through EMS? So we can assure the customers of commitment to environmental change. So because which we use the product or service, so we don't have any impact on the environmental. That's why that assurance can be given to the customer. And the meeting the customer requirements, maintaining good public relations image, increasing market share, improving industry government relations. Because the government regulations, when you maintain the government regulations, then automatically you can have the better relations with the government. So this is about the EMS. This is about the EMS.